Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this week's live stream. Hello to everybody who is already in the chat, and hello to everybody who is in the future watching this on the replay. We're going to do a general cruise Q&A today, so if you have any questions about any cruise lines, any cruise ships, any cruise destinations, or anything non-cruise related, that is totally fine. We have so many questions in here already. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I think we should just jump straight in, to be honest. Is that good with everybody? The Captain Hudson, was here a minute ago, and I do have the Dreamies here, so we will get him to come and say hello on this live stream. We have got people watching this from California, from Seattle, from New York, all over the place. Amazing. Tennessee. Awesome. Okay, so the first question is from Darren, and he says, why do UK cruise lines restrict non-Brits from cruising with them? I have made several attempts to book a cruise with P&O, but cannot purchase a cruise because I'm Canadian. It's not, as far as I know, because you're Canadian or because you're from outside the UK that you can't book a cruise with P&O. It's more like to book a P&O cruise, you have to jump through certain hoops, and you can't because the biggest problem we have, because we used to kind of offer to book Americans and Canadians on P&O through the UK agency I work with, but we cannot get enough travel insurance cover for people from outside the UK. So you could be denied boarding, and obviously the travel agency I work with does not want to book a cruise when you could get denied boarding at the port. So it's strange. I had a call this week with Marella TUI about the same thing because they make it very difficult for Americans. And I'm not sure what they'll say, but I'll let you know what I say about that one. Yeah, exactly. Connie says, I hear Morella is hard for Americans to book. Yeah, you have to pretty much use PayPal to hide your address. That's the only way we've found to do it. But that is really sketchy, right? Why are they making it so hard? I guess because the way Morella does it is it does a lot of its bookings on packages. So you get the flights, you get the transfers, and you get the ship. And I guess they just think, we're filling the ship. We don't need those extra people. But I really like Morella, and I talk about them a lot. And it's a shame, I think, if I can't, help people to actually book them, just talk about them. It seems weird. Next question is from Tom, and he says, do you feel cruise lines frown at YouTubers who put out truthful but negative reviews? Can it affect the relationships and future opportunities for the YouTubers, press trips, etc.? I'm sure they do frown sometimes, but I think really cruise lines aren't paying very much attention. I think really what annoys them is when people come out with they don't say the full story, or they come out with news before it's been confirmed. I think they probably frown at that in their offices when they see we've gone viral for this thing, and they do an update and then no one sees the update. So it's kind of always left in the bad position. I don't think cruise lines, to be honest, I think they would prefer it if you weren't someone who just said everything was fantastic on every single cruise line, because then no one's really going to believe you if everything is always fantastic. So I've never had any problems with it. Going back to 2020, probably I should tell you the story about my Virgin Voyages cruise. So I took a cruise on Scarlet Lady, the kind of press launch before it was ever launched, and I just didn't get it. I really did not get it. They were trying to charge something like £400 per night for this cruise. The ship wasn't finished. There were certain things that were so weird, just unnecessarily weird. And I put out a video about that. At the time, I don't think Virgin really liked it, but they have changed everything that I mentioned in that original video, apart from the swimming pool. They haven't made that bigger because they literally can't. So now, I get invited on the press launches with Virgin. I know their team quite well. They're super nice. It's not like if you say something bad, it's game over. That's not really how it works. To be honest, I think they would prefer that. So yeah, just don't say things that are not true. I think that's it, really. What would be your advice to do on P&O Britannia? I do have videos on P&O Britannia. If you want to have a look, go back years and years on my channel, I think 2018. And that was back when I was doing the kind of day 1 vlog, day 2 vlog. And I think on my website, I have 8 free things to do on Britannia. So I wrote that at the time. So that's probably more up-to-date information than I can say right now. Tom says, thanks for the answer. You are very welcome. I do my best on these live streams to answer as many questions as I can. As you can see, the chat goes very, very fast. So please don't think that I'm ignoring you if I don't answer your question. It just goes so super fast. Sharon asks, when will Hudson be available again? So version 2 of Hudson is in the post. He's on his way to me. I have to sign off a physical version of it. I've seen all the photos. I'm happy with it. We tweaked a few things. He looks good, from the photos I've seen, but I have to physically get it in my hands. And that could be, in a week's time. And then he'll be going live in a week later. So probably 2 or 3 weeks' time, he'll be available to buy. If you're not on the wait list, go emmacruises.com/Hudson toy. So I can just send out an email that says version 2 is ready. Yeah, very exciting. Oh, Richard says, given that NCL has several more Prima class ships coming down the pike, does that mean line? What would you change on those based on your Prima sailing? There are a few things on Prima where I thought like, why is the band here? This seems like the worst place in this room for this band, or why is this in this space? I think with the next ships, they're not changing too much. I think they're getting a bit bigger, but I think they're moving things around because they've had a real kind of test of, everyone bunches up there, nobody goes here. So I would definitely in the atrium, there's a band that plays, but it plays like right under and by the bar. And it was good. It was popular. It's a victim of its own success. But if you want more people to listen to it, you kind of have to move that out. So I think they're going to do things like that. Hudson #1 is going to Alaska, departing on Saturday. That is amazing. So for those of you who don't know, who are new to my channel, we created a mascot. I've actually packed mine, so I haven't got mine here. And his name's Captain Hudson. We sold those to raise money for a charity called Mercy Ships. And there's 1,300 of these currently in the world, which is crazy. And we're working on version 2 at the moment. The profits, again, donated to Mercy Ships. And we have a Facebook group, and in there, everyone shares the pictures of he's in Hawaii, he's in Disney World, he's doing all of these cool things, which is really cool to see. I am actually working with a developer at the moment to kind of make a website where we can have a big interactive map with all the heat maps so that you can see has Hudson been here before in this port in Alaska? And you can go in and you can see when he was there and other people's pictures and stuff. But it turns out that stuff's kind of confusing to make. I have all of these ideas. I want there to be the photos added this month, the best photo of the month. I want everyone to be able to vote and stuff. But we're working on that. Cruising with the 4Bs. Hello, it is nice to see you. If you could only have Pepsi Max or cookies, which way are you going? I'm going for the Pepsi Max because I love cookies, but they're a treat. And Pepsi Max I have every day of my life, and I would miss it a lot more. So yes. Bella says, Tony will be in the UK June 1st. Any plans for sharing a pint? I will not be in the UK on June 1st. I don't know what it is about me and Tony, but normally if he's in the UK, I'm in the US. I'm not this time, but normally we switch over. So no plans then, but I do have it in my plan, in the future. Please explain Mercy Ships. Okay, so Mercy Ships are a charity that creates these massive ships. They're like huge ferries, and they are hospital ships. So they have on them multiple operating theaters and wards, and they float off to somewhere that needs medical care. They invite all the locals on board. They do things like cataract surgeries and things that change people's lives a lot, but are relatively easy surgeries. And everyone on board is a volunteer. So all the chefs are volunteers. They have teachers on there. They have all the engineers are volunteers, the doctors, the nurses, the cooks, everything. A really nice bunch of people, people who give up decades of their lives. You don't have to, but there are people who, I've talked to who have said, oh, I've been a doctor on Mercy Ships for 34 years, which is crazy. It's so cool. But even from just the sort of shipping side, it's really a cool ship. Really, really interesting. Is that a tiny Hudson on the world map behind you? Yes, it is. Where is he? There he is. I don't know what he's doing off there. But yes, I try and move him around for the background. Yeah, what about a Captain Hudson app? Yeah, I would love that. Once we've sort of worked out the website version, I think it would be cool to make him an app. But one thing at a time, I think. Thank you to Adam, who just joined the channel. You have 135 podcasts you can listen to now, and you can join us in our Discord chat. So I'll see you in there. My goodness. Have you or will you ever go on the Impractical Jokers cruise? I've watched the TV shows. I have no plans to go on them, and I don't really understand how they work, because the whole Impractical Jokers thing is people who don't know that they're on the show, right? That's the funny thing. So I don't really know how that works. But I remember it being on kind of an older Norwegian ship for a while. So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. I have never been to Australia. No, I'd really like to, but nope. Nope, nope, nope. Is Hudson named after the river in New York? I have no idea. He's a adopted cat. I got him from Cats Protection. He was 5. He came with the name Hudson, and I think it suits him, so it's super cute. Is down the pike an Americanism? I've never heard that in my life, so maybe. I assumed it was a typo, but I don't know. Kieran says, haven't cruised before, but my dad and I want to go on a cruise around January time from Southampton, but can't find any cruises. Do you know why? Ooh, there should be plenty, I would think. I mean, a lot of cruise lines do move their ships during winter to places that are warmer, but I've done cruises that kind of time of year. That should not be a problem. I don't know if you're looking at specific cruise lines websites. What I would probably do is my favorite website, it's an American website just for looking at cruises. It's called Vacations to Go. If you go on there, you can put in January, you can put in Southampton, and it will just do all the cruises for you. There's a few smaller British lines that aren't on there, but most of them are on there. And it's very simple. It's very simple. Are the smaller ships doomed? I love the smaller ships compared to the monsters. They're not doomed, but I think the budget smaller ships are probably doomed seems like the wrong word, but I think they're making way for the more expensive ones. It's going to become more luxurious, I think, to go on a smaller ship, which makes sense. Down the pike is an Americanism. Well, there you go. Down the road, in the pipeline. I see. I've never heard this before. That's interesting. Brent says that background map is pretty awesome. Was it something you had custom made or is it pre-made? It is pre-made, so I stuck it to the wall, so it may not be accurate in terms of where everything is. I did my best, but it is pre-made. The link to it is in the description, I think. Or if you go on my website and type in map, I have, what size this is, what color it is, all of that stuff. Any plans to try Ambassador again? I don't have any booked, but I definitely would like to at some point. I'm kind of trying to leave a bit more space in my schedule so that I can do kind of last minute cruises, because I don't know if you've seen some of these recent Norwegian cruises. I saw a cruise on Norwegian Prima. It was under £500 for 11 nights, I think, which is so cheap. But all of these things are like, you have to go in 4 days. And I plan quite a lot. I'm quite an organized person. So I would like to pick up like a last minute Ambassador cruise. I think that would be quite interesting. My mum's in here. Hello, mum. My mum says, can you please hit the thumbs up? Yes, Emma's mum says so please do it. Captain Hudson lanyard, absolutely. That'd be pretty easy. At the moment, I have got Captain Hudson t-shirts, hoodies, kids t-shirts, shoes. I made shoes for myself, blankets, all kinds of stuff. This is the thing of the week. I know we normally do the t-shirts. I normally do a discount on the t-shirts every live stream, but I got this today and I wanted to show you it. So this is, even Hudson wants to see it. Here you go, Hudson. Do you like it? It's probably backwards for you, but I can read it. It says, warning, the owner of this bottle may start talking about cruises at any point. And I think that is pretty good. So I'm taking this on my next cruise. And the discount code, I can't remember what it is, but I wrote it in the pinned comment. It's in the description. And that's for the next 24 hours only. Yes. Yeah, we can do lanyards easy peasy. I'm kind of just testing things because I don't want to, until I got this, I'm not going to sell it because I need to test it. And I have rejected an awful lot of things. Do you guys think Hudson should have some dreamies? Because if you do, he's waiting and I can give him some. Bottle discount. There we go. I was very clever with the discount. Bottle discount. Brian says, I keep seeing where people say NCL ships seem understaffed. Did you notice that on Prima? No, at no point did I notice. It didn't feel understaffed. I've definitely been on cruises that felt a lot more kind of stretched in terms of crew, but it was totally fine. I don't really remember either way, so I think that's pretty good. Dreamies? Yes. Dreamy time. Rich says that's a lot bigger than I thought. Oops, that's me dropping the lid. Hudson looks hungry. He's not, I promise. Yeah, I think, my daughter says yes to Hudson's Dream Streets. Okay. It will take 0 seconds for him to see that I'm picking up the packet. Meow. Okay. Okay, Dreamies for Hudson. Everyone said you could have some. Nicole said you could have some. You're not making it any faster, Hudson, by headbutting me. Right, I'll put some more over here in the pile, and then that's it for Dreamies, okay? That's enough Dreamies. Tom says, how did the sponsorship work with Norwegian? Were you paid with cruises? So Norwegian hired me, which is absolutely crazy, to... No, please stop eating my keyboard. There's more Dreamies here. To make videos for their YouTube channel. So I got to use my skills that I've learned over the last 7 years for someone else's channel, which was really cool. So I did the normal kind of content on my channel. I also did a ship tour because Prima's cool and I wanted to do a ship tour. And then I did things that were kind of a bit more different on their channel. So on my channel, you tend to get a story that's like 20 minutes. And I tend to cover everything, but they wanted, you know, can you come and make a video about the cabin specifically? Can you come and make a video about the food specifically? And the food one was particularly good because normally I don't pay for specialty meals. I just eat in the main dining rooms. But because they wanted to show me all of the food, I happily saw all of the food. So that was very cool. Very, very cool. Have you been on Arvia? No, I haven't, but I have booked Arvia. So I took my nieces on their first cruise on Iona. They had a fantastic time, and then we decided to book Arvia. So I'm very, very excited about it. I think Arvia just looks like a kind of warmer weather version of Iona. They're not too different, apart from Arvia does have like a roast dinner section, which sounds amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, Dan's here. Dan is my US agent. He heads up my US team, and he is on board the Norwegian Spirit, my first cruise ship. Very, very exciting. Oh, lots of people whose first live stream this is. Hopefully it's not too confusing that this is on a different day, but I'm traveling tomorrow. So don't wake up tomorrow and think you don't have to go to work because it is not Friday. I promise. Yeah, agreed. The Dreamies are absolutely addictive. Hudson loves them. He properly loves them. What cruise lines are going to Japan? Oh, I think mostly it's Princess and Royal Caribbean off the top of my head. But other ones might go there too. When I cruised to Japan before, I did it with Princess on the Golden Princess. She's since been sold to P&O Australia. But that was awesome. Have you been able to get a cruise lined up for World Europa yet? I haven't yet. I do look at it. It's on my to-do list. I think it's very interesting. I think I've crossed off a lot of the other MSC ships, and this one seems quite different. But I don't have any planned at the minute. Nope. I haven't been to MSC's private island. I've never been to any private island owned by a cruise line. I've done 3 Caribbean cruises, but they just didn't go there. So, yeah. Oh, Belisma's going to Japan. Interesting. Didn't know MSC were in Japan, but that's quite cool. Are you going to the escape rooms on Arvia? I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of escape rooms. I haven't heard the greatest reviews about that one either, but maybe. You have a good job, Emma. I love to have your job. See, this isn't a job that you can like apply for. This is a business that I spent 5 years maybe building up in my spare time, and then I gave myself this job, which is crazy cool. What do you think about celebrity cruises? Well, I have only cruised on the older celebrity ships. I think their food is fantastic. Their cookies are the best of any cruise line, but I have got a cruise booked on Celebrity Edge. It is, I think, the most expensive cruise I've ever booked. I think, because I did book the more controversial veranda cabin because I have to test it out. I've seen so many videos about it, but I'm really looking forward to it. I have been on the Sea View. I've not been on the MSC Seaside, but they're kind of the same. So, yes. Yeah, Princess of Japan, my favorite cruise of all cruises. Yeah, no question. When people ask me what the favorite cruise is, that is always it. Oh, Robert says, have traveled Carnival and Royal Caribbean. How do Marella compare? Oh, that's tricky. So I would say some of the ships that Marella have are actually old Royal Caribbean ships, and they're really, really nice. They've been refurbished really well. It's very casual on a Marella cruise. The entertainment, I think, is my favorite because They have different theatre shows every single night. The drinks are all included. The food is pretty good. It's nothing particularly gourmet. I'm sure some of it is frozen, but that's not a thing that bothers me. I saw someone earlier saying how they went on a Costa cruise and it was terrible because some of the food had like a symbol and it said it had been frozen. Couldn't care less. If it tastes nice, I don't mind at all if it's been frozen. I'm not sure if I'm the only person or if that's weird. This is my mug. If you heard a weird noise, don't know if you did, but this was me twisting my mug. I'm scared Hudson's going to jump on it. That's why. Wow, my comments are jumping up and down. Thank you so much, everybody. What was your favorite port in Japan? I think Tokyo. I mean, it's just unreal. It's not even like a real place. It's crazy. Well, if you wanted to see Europe for a first time, would you go on a river cruise or a traditional ocean cruise? Or they're very different. It depends if you want to see a place in detail or if you want to see lots of places in less detail. You know, you can do a Mediterranean cruise that visits 5 different countries in a week. If you do a river cruise, you can do multiple different countries, but it's not going to be so dramatically different. You could do like a really, you know, like my next cruise is a river cruise, is a German river cruise, and we're just in Germany, you know. I have never cruised with Holland America. That's one of the ones on my list that I've not done yet. I would really like to, and I think I will soon. I think so. I have done an East Coast cruise, and I suppose it was in September. But I don't remember anything about like full colors or anything. I had to think what fall was then for a second because we would just call it autumn here. Um, if you have typed the same comment so many times, I may have seen it and be ignoring it because some are a bit strange. So yes. Oh, Travel with Dave and Bill say, what do the staff normally think about filming for YouTube on MSC? I think MSC are one of the stricter cruise lines on it, and they will shout at you, and they have shouted at me, but only really, you can't film in the casino, and they stick to that rule, and you can't film, like, if you're near the splash park and, like, there's kids in there, or you're in the inside pool, don't try and film anywhere near there, but I think that's fair enough. Yeah, anywhere else is fine as long as you're not sticking the camera in someone's face, as long as you're not like walking through the buffet and filming people eating, then it's totally fine. Do not stress. Where have you not cruised to that you would like to, says Jessica. Good question. I would like to cruise almost everywhere that I've not cruised to. Even places that I've been to, I feel like if I went when I was a child, doesn't really count, and I'm going to say them again. So I would like to do sort of like a Panama Canal cruise. I think that would be really cool. Pacific Islands, very cool. Anything Australia and New Zealand would be amazing. More Asia would be really, really good. I haven't done a transatlantic. I haven't done a trans-Pacific. I have been to Alaska and I have been to Hawaii, but I was a child, so I don't count it. I want to go there as well. Any personal views on the inside rooms to balconies? I find I spend less time using the ship's facilities if I have a balcony. Yes, exactly that. I think the cheaper the room you have, the less time you spend in the room. If I have an inside cabin, I'm not really hanging out in there because there's not really much to do or much to see. It's just a room, but it's clean. You can have a shower, you can have a nap. Hopefully you can make a cup of tea if you're on a British cruise line and there's a kettle in there. But yeah, you just don't really spend much time in there. For me, it depends on the itinerary. You know, I used to be always inside cabin. Now there's certain places I think for me it's worth upgrading. But if I'm doing like a cruise that's to industrial ports, we're going to Bruges, we're going to Le Havre in October. I don't need to see those shipping containers. There's not much to see. It'll probably be dark when you're sailing in and sailing out. So that's very different, I think, from doing like an Alaskan cruise or a Norway cruise or something where it's maybe worth upgrading. Do you find a difference between cruise ships built in the 2000s and built in the last few years? Oh, we traveled on the Norwegian Joy and have booked the Norwegian Star, which is a much smaller ship. So this is probably similar to me. I just got off of the Norwegian Prima. And before that, last November, I went on the Norwegian Sun. And I really loved the Sun. But when I have a look now at like the footage that I filmed on Sun versus Prima, you can tell what 20 years of design change has done. I don't know that it's changed that much fundamentally about ships. It's kind of just in the 2000s they were a big fan of the colorful carpets. They were a big fan of the kind of like orangey wood and pillars and stuff like that. Whereas now it's much more kind of neutral colors and blues and greens and sparkly things. That seems to be the current theme. Which cruise line would you take for a British Isles cruise? I think, interestingly, Princess do it better than other cruise lines. I've taken a couple of British Isles cruises with Princess. They do it more often, I think, than most other cruise lines. But if you could do a British cruise line, that would be pretty cool. But they normally don't do it too much. Why do you think new ships are being built without a promenade deck? Because it's just not money making space for them, I think, to be quite honest. If they can put, restaurants there instead and extend the ship and make more money from it, I think that's why they do it. Also, a lot of ships now, the way the lifeboats are, they're kind of in the way. So it doesn't look as good as the older ships. But yeah, I really like the promenade decks. I think what Norwegian have done with them is good because they have kept the promenade deck, but they use it for stuff. So that's like the bottom of the slides, that's the specialty restaurants. So you still go there. It's not just like wandering around laps, which I do anyway. I do like the promenade deck. What is the best bargain cruise you've been on? Oh, probably if I say recently, I took a Costa cruise that was very, very cheap, Costa Smeralda, and that was fantastic. We went early in the year, so it was not in season at all, but it was just fun. It was so colorful, it was so bright. It's not for everybody, a Costa cruise, it's a very Italian cruise line, but I really enjoyed it, and I think the starting price, I did upgrade to a balcony because my ambassador cruise got cancelled while I was on board, so I used that refund to upgrade to a balcony. But the starting price was under £300 for a week, so how can you argue with that? It's pretty good. How good is the Norwegian app? I don't remember it crashing at any point during the cruise. I used it just to look at the daily schedule, which is good because a lot of cruise lines don't have the daily schedule in there for some reason. And I looked at my onboard account and that always worked fine. So yeah, as far as I know, there's no like free messaging in there that I know of. If there is, I missed it. But it was pretty good. I prefer it just to kind of work, and it did work. The Wi-Fi was pretty good, so that probably helped as well. Chris said, are you going to put up a site to catalog Captain Hudson's picks? Chris, you read my mind. At the beginning of this live stream, we talked about that, so I'll let you rewind and see that. But yes is the thing. Bob says, do you think travel insurance is worth it? If you dare take a cruise without travel insurance, I'm not going to talk to you, whoever you are, because it is the most, it makes me so, I feel sick. I feel sick. What happens if you're on a cruise, you fall over, you break your leg, you have a stroke, you have a heart attack, if you need to be airlifted off of there, even if you're from Britain and we have our healthcare, and you still need to be taken to the hospital, and it's going to cost you a lot of money if you're on a cruise ship and if you're at sea. If you need to go to the doctors on board, that'll cost you like $500 up front. Do not risk it. There's a lot of nice benefits as well. If you lose things, you get money back. I get missed port cover on my travel insurance, but people have literally died. Like, I have a video on my channel about people who have died because they didn't have travel insurance, because they couldn't get home. I think one of the guys in the example, he was from the US, he had a stroke, he got taken off the ship in one of the Caribbean islands. He couldn't afford to get home because he didn't have travel insurance, and he died. And they think if he had got home and got the treatment that he needed, he might have lived. So why people don't buy it, why cruise lines don't make it required. I mean, it is required by a lot of British cruise lines, but yeah, you could lose your house, you could lose your savings, you could be bankrupt forever, you could die. So yeah, Dan says, our insurance partner for the US customers always do upfront medical payment. Yeah, so Dan is my US agent who is in charge of my US team and has taught me so much about US cruising and US travel insurance and everything like that, and we can always offer that with the cruises that we provide, so that's good. But oh yeah, it makes me feel quite sick when people almost brag about not having travel insurance, which, like, if the way I see it, if you can't afford the travel insurance, you can't afford the cruise. Like, if that is the thing that pushes you over the limit, don't do it. What are the best travel insurance providers? I'm new to cruising. If you go on my website, emmacruises.com, there's a travel insurance button right at the top. And I wrote this really long post that goes through, like, if you're in the US, if you're in the UK, if you have existing medical problems, if you don't, here are the recommendations, everything like that. Yeah. Rich says, it says a lot that, I normally cruise on a budget and I don't like to spend extra money, but I always get travel insurance. Yes, 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 yes. Also, make sure it's cruise specific. If you have a general travel insurance policy, it probably excludes cruises. If you have travel insurance with your bank and stuff, some of them do cover cruises, some of them don't. But make sure you know before you go. Know before you go. I see we have Paul and Carol in here. Hello, Paul and Carol. Nice to see you guys. And I have something flashing up on my screen. It is from Frank. Thank you so much, Frank, for my super chat. It says, for all your hard work and the helpful tips you have and your fun Britishisms, and mostly because I adore you. Thank you so much, Frank. That is very kind of you to say. I appreciate it. How many cruises does it take to break even with the annual cruise insurance? Oh, tricky. For me, if I take 2 cruises a year, it makes more sense to get the annual policy, which I do take 2 cruises a year. But it depends where you're going also, because you can get like a worldwide. Normally, from the UK, you can get specific countries insurance. You can get worldwide excluding the US, and then you can get worldwide including the US. So I have that one, but that one's the most expensive. So it depends where you're going, if it'll be worth it or not. But have you ever had a bill for onboard spend that sickened you? I don't think so. I've had some onboard spends that I've been very proud of. I've had quite a few cruises where I've had a $0 onboard spend, which is pretty good. I'm checking my onboard account every single day on a cruise, though. You can normally do it on the cabin TV or you can do it on your phone. So I don't have any surprises right at the end, which is good. Um, this might sound like a bit of a weird question, but I think it's worth actually answering because Tom raises a good point. He says, do you think the Titanic has affected modern cruising numbers? And you would obviously, if you're watching this, you're probably someone who, either you've been on a cruise or you think you might want to go on a cruise or you're aware of the cruise industry, right? But sometimes some of my content gets on another side of the internet, either on Facebook or TikTok, and it gets to an audience that would never consider cruising. And quite a few of the comments in there are always related to the Titanic. So I think there genuinely are people who still won't cruise because of the Titanic, which is just insane. Can you imagine if we compared cars or like anything else to 1912? Yeah, bizarre. More positively than negatively. Well, that's a good point. I mean, I've never heard anyone been like, I've booked this cruise because I saw the Titanic. But I guess, we would just probably talk about other ships. There's plenty of other ships. Jonathan said I had a 5-night cruise where my onboard spend didn't break $80 and I felt as though I'd won a gold medal. I like that. That's pretty good. I normally prepay my gratuities too, if it's a cruise line that has the separate gratuities. So that helps to keep it down at the end. I don't know what the question is, but my mum says no, she's always mega early for everything. I am always mega early for everything. Yeah, I am. Thank you, Jeff, for my super sticker. I think I can't see the sticker on here, but I do try and go back and watch the live streams on YouTube after this, and sometimes they appear. I use a software called StreamYard so that I can put these comments on the screen and stuff. So yeah, appreciate it anyway. Coke Zero or Pepsi Max? Obviously Pepsi Max. Coke Zero is actually third place, and second place for me is the like pretend Pepsi Max that they do in Lidl. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. George says, do you remove the gratuities on your cruises? I do not. I just view gratuities really as part of the cruise fare. I don't like the way that it's done. A lot of British cruise lines, they just include them now. I think it's just a way of kind of like the cruise line saying, you pay the staff rather than us pay the staff. The way I see it, I mean, in the UK, we don't tip in the same way. So I guess it's different, but I see it as like, you're the cruise line, you pay your stuff, you buy the food, you run the ship, and I'll give you money for it. But I want to know just how much the money is. So yeah, I always just prepay it if I can. I just see it as part of the cruise fare. And when I'm kind of budgeting and stuff, that's the price. Same with the travel insurance. Yeah, Dan says, please don't remove your gratuities. It really does impact the staff. Yeah, it does. Spoke to plenty of staff. The gratuities go to people who you don't see. That's the thing. Some people say, oh, I'll take them off and I'll tip people who I see, which is fine. But what about the person who is washing the plates all day, every day? Or the person who is in the laundry with those massive piles of sheets and towels? They'll get the money taken away from them if you do that. So, yeah. Yeah, Dan says, our newest cruise agent, Queen, spent 9 years on board Holland America. Yes, very excited to have her on board our US team. It's so cool. I've not cruised with Holland America yet, but I would like to. Love your mug. Thank you. This one is not for sale because it's just not very good. And I have 4 of these now. This is version 4. But I am testing version 5. And when that's good, I'll let you know. So many questions. How did the conference go last week? It was pretty good, thank you. Yes, it was more sort of for me, just it was a business conference, an affiliate gathering, and more kind of a way for me just to meet up with my friends who I've known for years, around a common thing, which was pretty cool. So many questions. Thank you so much, everybody. Which cruise line would you say has the best activities on board? It depends what you want to do. There's everything on cruise ships from if you're someone who wants to do skydiving, like I've not actual skydiving, but skydiving simulators and surfing. I've done those on cruise ships. If you're someone who wants like a nice book club or an art painting class, there's those things on cruises. You kind of just have to align what you think is the best with the cruise line. For someone who doesn't want to do any of those things, if they go on a cruise ship that has ice skating rinks on it, they're like, that's not interesting to me. But if you're someone, who really likes that, that's really cool. So there kind of is everything on cruises. And different amounts as well. Some cruise lines will have like 3 or 4 things happening at once, and other cruise lines will have, like 2 hours between activities because it's just a different kind of cruise. Travel with Dave and Bill say, is a fly cruise better or worse than a regular cruise? It's worse because you have to get there, but it's better because you get to go somewhere else, I think. So it's quite nice to cruise from the UK. It's very, very easy. It's very good. But the weather, there's only, so far you can get away from the UK, and the weather will probably be the same. If you take a Northern Europe cruise, the weather's probably going to be the same as it is here. And it's so nice to get away to go to somewhere that has guaranteed sunshine if it's winter or something like that. So, yeah. Have you seen Rich's latest Captain Hudson cartoon with the crow? Yes. I don't know if Kevin is in here. But Kevin bought Captain Hudson version 1 and he was taken away by a crow, and it's not the only Captain Hudson casualty. We've had other ones who have been attacked by dogs and various other things, but Rich is our chief animator in our Facebook group, and he puts together these amazing videos. He's made a YouTube channel now too for the videos, so that's cool. And he made one about the crow. Kevin's in here. Hello, Kevin. If you haven't already seen this video from Rich, you have to watch it. It will make you laugh. It made me laugh. It is the best one yet, and Rich has done so many of these. Thank you, Sharon, for my super chat. She says, thanks for all the great info. Leaving Monday for my second cruise. I am hooked. Yes, it only takes 1 cruise, I think. 1 cruise, and then you are hooked. But I'm glad to hear it. That's so good. That is so good. How do arcades on ships today compare with the ones you went on as a kid? I don't really go near the arcades now that I've grown up on cruises. I don't think arcade games have changed all that much, but what has changed is, I went on Prima and they have this virtual reality pavilion thing, and that's kind of the new version. So instead of playing Pac-Man, you can do like a virtual reality roller coaster. I think the only kind of games were things like Pac-Man and like air hockey and stuff when I first did cruising. Rich says, I saw it and it was great. How did your NCL partnership come together? Congrats, by the way. Well, I think it's been a long time in the making. So I took my first Norwegian cruise when I was 11, and I have cruised with them, I think, I don't know, 12 times maybe since then. So when I was a teenager and I took my first cruises, I did them with Norwegian and also with MSC. So I kind of thought that was what cruising was like. I thought it was super kind of casual. Then I grew up and I wanted to take my friends on a cruise. When I took my other half on a cruise, it was the Norwegian Breakaway, that no, Norwegian Getaway. That was our first, cruise, and he's hooked now, so that's good. And I just kind of booked Norwegian cruises ever since because, I know that I like them. I took a cruise last year on the Norwegian Sun, and that's when I sort of started chatting to Norwegian. The videos from that did really well, so I kind of could say to them like, look, I got you 1 million views on this and that, and they said, we would like some content on our channel, can you do it? And I said, hopefully I can, because I've been practicing for a long time. And it's so nice. Oh my goodness. I try, because it's not on my channel, so I don't get, notifications about the comments and things. But I go to the content on their channel and I try and go through the comments as much as I can. And all the comments that say like, Emma sent me here, or there's so many people who are being just lovely about me, which is so nice. And I appreciate it because I put a lot of work into it. It was so much work. Normally I come home and I like script a video, edit a video, and then publish it. But this time I came home and I had 5 videos that I had planned, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. Can you explain? I prepaid gratuities on NCL Joy, and they also charge me a daily gratuity rate as well, which I have removed. Is this expected? If you've prepaid your gratuities, you shouldn't see any automatic gratuities charges coming on every day. Something has gone wrong there if that happens. Sean says, if you have a question, please start it with a question. Yeah, if you can, it just helps me to pick out what is a question. I'm sure you can see the comments go pretty fast. I do my best to keep up, but there's only so much that I can do. Thank you so much for this super sticker. I think I'm gonna have to come back and see it. I don't know if you can see like anything here, but for me, I can't see it. Thank you so much. I love how my mum's just in the comments answering things. Appreciate it. It's very helpful. Kevin says, want some Emma Cruises merch, including the new Captain Hudson. Here is my shop. Thank you so much. Everything on there is designed by me and tested by me, which means I have got so much merch and so many rejected things that didn't make it to the site. And I'm not sure what to do with them. But we will see. Thank you so much for my super sticker again. That one says super sticker. The other one didn't say sticker. I don't know. Thank you anyway. I appreciate them all. Carol says, is there a link to Rich's YouTube videos? I can't share it because I'm doing a live stream, but perhaps Kevin can. It's The Adventures of Captain Hudson. I think that's what it's called if you search for it. Or Rich, you can share it. Or you can give it to Kevin. I don't know. Amber says, what is the best way to find out about upcoming themed cruises? I saw a Gone Girl cruise, but wouldn't even know how to find such a thing. I think most of the people who go on these group cruises with a theme find them from within that theme rather than, I don't know of a website that's like, this is all the theme cruises. There's plenty of like blog posts that list out, the top ones. But I think the way you would find out about like, if you're watching a certain TV show would be within that community. It doesn't really help, but I think that's how it happens in reality. How is the search for a person to help you edit your content? It is going very well. It's unlikely because I'm actually training up my brother to help me, my little brother, because he knows as much about cruising as me, for sure. He's enthusiastic. He's very smart. He's already helped me, just from me showing him. He's like, why do you do that? Why don't you just press this? I don't know. So hopefully that'll all work out. That would be really cool. Kevin shared it. Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Chris said, just found out MSC and Virgin are matching loyalty levels from other cruise lines. Is this a permanent thing? So MSC have done that as long as I can remember. I have really old guides on my website about it from maybe 5 years ago. The Virgin thing is kind of new, but Virgin are kind of new. So whether they keep that up forever or not, I don't know. But I can't see MSC getting rid of it. I matched my Norwegian loyalty status because I took those first cruises with Norwegian when I was a kid. So actually, I think now you can't get loyalty points when you're a child, but back then I could, so I do have the status, and I matched it with MSC and got black level, I think. So I get a free specialty meal, I get a free chocolate, either like a chocolate chip or some chocolates, I get a bottle of something, and I think that's it. But that's worth having for free. I didn't do anything. Thank you, Rich, for the super chat. He says, please get Hudson some dreamies as compensation for his acting. That is crazy. Thank you. Virgin is redoing their loyalty program later this year. Oh, I see. Maybe that's just an incentive to like get people interested in it, and then they'll get rid of it. I don't know. Have you thought about going on Icon? I have, but I have got Symphony of the Seas booked, so I'm going to see how I like Symphony of the Seas before I think about booking Icon. Very interesting. Emma, when you went on a video, you seem to talk fast. Are you normally like this, or just trying to get as much as you can into a video? This on the live stream, I think, is how I normally talk on the live stream. In the regular videos, I mean, I record those and I edit them at 2 times speed. So for me, when I watch the regular videos now, like on YouTube, it seems so slow. It seems so slow. But this is the same as I talk in real life. But also, I'm excited, so I think that makes it a bit faster. If we were talking about something else, if I was doing a presentation like in my other job that I had, I wouldn't talk this fast because I wouldn't be this excited. It was really interesting for me actually talking about that conference that I went to, because I worked in insurance for 6 years before I did this, and I learned how to be like a proper professional person and do proper professional presentations and data and stuff. And then I go to this conference and it's just so chill. It's so chilled out. People would say like the most weird phrases, and it was totally fine to put like South Park pictures on the screen and stuff. And this is people's real lives. This is everyone's there, for business. Crazy cool. Oh, Dan says, Emma, a secret for you. Hopefully not too secret, as you put it on my screen. I've got permission to offer bonus onboard credit with your Symphony videos. Amazing. Love you, Dan. Thank you so much. We'll talk about that after this. Ambassador puts their theme cruises in a section on their website. Yeah, I think quite a few cruises do that. But if you wanted to see like across all of the cruise lines, that's quite hard. And also quite often it's not the cruise lines that run the themed cruises. They'll like charter a full ship. So if it's like, I think there's an emo cruise coming up and like heavy metal cruises and stuff, that's a company that hires the entire ship. So it wouldn't be on like, I don't think it would be on like Norwegian's website. It's very separate, if that makes sense. Annie says, have you ever booked a cruise that was scheduled to depart in 1 month or less and regretted it? No, I've never, we could take out any time frame. Have you ever booked a cruise and regretted it? No. I've never regretted any cruise I've been on, even if it's, a luxurious cruise or a very cheap cruise or warm or cold or, I just tend to sort of take things as they come, go without any expectations. As long as it's clean and I'm not hungry, that's like the main things for a cruise, then I'm pretty happy. MSC status match can only be awarded once, and you have to cruise every 36 months or the status expires. Yes, that sounds right. If you want the full sort of list of all of this stuff, and I have a like step-by-step application guide, emmacruises.com, type in MSC, and it will come up. But yeah, I think that's more than fair. I think you couldn't have people matching it all the time. It would just be too crazy. So yeah. Yeah, it came from a generation where a suit and tie had to be worn to the office. Glad those days are over now. Yes. Yeah, it's so strange. I mean, the conference I went to, everyone is running their own businesses, so everyone's just wearing a hoodie and jeans, and I think, that's how people are comfortable, and, that makes me more comfortable, I think. Question, is Hudson version 2 almost ready? Yeah, we did talk more about this at the beginning of the video, so I won't talk too much just because it will bore the people who already saw it, but hopefully the sample for version 2 will be with me in about a week. Then I will sign it off, so maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I think, and Hudson version 2 will be ready. Thank you so much, by the way, to the moderators who look after this chat. I would not do these live streams without you. I really appreciate it. They're behind the scenes. They're constantly, I see weird things come up and I see them disappear because they're on it before I have a chance to read it out, which is pretty cool. What is your least favorite memory from a cruise and why? It'll probably be one of the days where I was very seasick and I didn't feel very well because that's probably the only time where I've ever been on a cruise and been like, I would actually prefer not to be on a cruise, is when I'm feeling really seasick. The worst seasickness I've had was on the Arctic Circle cruise that I took recently, because I cruised into the Arctic Circle on an old cruise ship in March. I bring these things upon myself. It's not a regular cruise. I do get very travel sick in my regular life, cars and coaches. But on cruises, I'm mostly fine. It's just if we hit a storm or you sail into the Arctic Circle in March, then, that's likely to happen. Chris says, please remember to give this stream a thumbs up. It really helps. It does help. It just kind of gives YouTube a good sign. And then when you give it a good sign that you like the videos, they'll follow you around. That's the thing about YouTube is you can be subscribed to people. And I get comments all the time that's like, why haven't you posted in the last 6 months? I have. I've posted every 2 weeks. But unless you're looking for them, sometimes you won't find them. So the more you can, if you see like a comment of mine go by or something and you can just like it or comment, even if you're not really adding anything, you just add like an emoji of a cow or a potato, it helps. It helps YouTube. My mum's in here and she says only half the people have done a thumbs up. Yeah, 300 out of 600. Come on, guys, it's free. It doesn't do anything really. It just is a good sign, and I'd appreciate it. Have you done a Disney cruise? Yes, I have taken a Disney cruise. It was one of the sort of just after the pandemic cruises, so it didn't go anywhere, and it was, I don't know how to describe it. It was very full of Disney, like way more than I expected. Everything is Disney. Like every song in the corridors are Disney. Every trivia is Disney, as far as I remember. It took me by surprise. I think it would be very different if we did a Disney cruise that went to a Caribbean island or something. But we were very much in this Disney bubble for 3 days. It was intense. Yeah, but you saw the Northern Lights, so swings and roundabouts. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely worth it. Definitely. Jackie says, way to go, moderators. I was inactive today as I was multitasking during this one, as not able to read the comments. No problem at all. No problem at all. Do you still hate me for the short hair comment I made to you about 4 months ago? The fact that I can see this comment means that I haven't hidden you from my channel, so I don't know what it was, but it can't be that bad. At the first sign of anyone saying anything mean to me or anybody else, I hide them from the channel. This is very much, this is like my corner of the internet, and people sometimes just think they can come in here and be horrible, but no, that's not a nice place for anybody else. So I don't remember the comment, but I get plenty of comments. So yeah. Potato, thank you so much. Got my thumb. Thank you. Thank you. Not the potatoes again. It's been a while since we've had potato comments, I think, and I kind of miss them because it wasn't just like people would comment about potatoes on my videos. They would fit them into the conversation really well. So they would be like, wow, look at the size of that drawer in the bedroom. You could fit 12 potatoes in there. It just made me laugh because I never knew who was coming from the like potato side. Yeah. Considering a river cruise, and I've watched your videos, what's the biggest difference from ocean to river that may be unexpected? Oh, I think sort of the ease of a river cruise, because when you go on an ocean cruise, you're so used to sort of lining up, queuing up for things, waiting to scan your cruise card to get on and off, and then getting a shuttle bus because you're in an industrial port. But a river cruise is literally like you just wake up, oh, open the curtains, oh, I guess I'm here now. I'll just wander off. That's it. Just wander off. Sometimes you have a QR code that you scan on the way out and in, or you might hand in a key. I have done some river cruises where you have a key, like a key, and you hand it in. But it's just so easy. So easy. It's obviously a lot, there's one lounge normally. There's maybe one restaurant or 2 restaurants. So you're not going to have like go-karts and water slides and stuff. But it's super chill. It's so nice. It's so peaceful. Until you spend time on a river cruise and you hear like the very quiet water going by. It is so good. It's so relaxing. It is the most relaxing thing of all, I think. Thank you, Kevin. Shared the link to my Disney post. Yeah, if ever you're wondering, has Emma Cruises done this thing? Search Emma Cruises Disney, Emma Cruises MSC. It'll all come up. It'll all come up. Is rubbish a UK saying? I don't know. I feel like everyone knows what rubbish means, right? Yeah. Have you ever hid cruise ducks? I haven't hidden them, but I have found them, and I found quite a few on Prima. It seems to be like some cruise lines. Like I went on MSC Preziosa last year, and there were so many there. I found them in the buffet. I found them in the bars. I found them everywhere. But then other cruise ships, you won't see any. So I don't know. It seems to be sort of favored on some cruise lines. I like your toothpaste measurements for the shower. Thank you very much. That was all I had to hand. This was on the Azamara cruise that I took. It was my first sort of luxury cruise. It came down into my price range, and I was like, "What? What? Why?" That was kind of my point of that video. And the shower was so tiny. It was the smallest shower I've ever had for sure. Does Hudson sleep in your bed? He doesn't. He sleeps in a dog bed because he's as big as a dog. What did you do before you did cruising all the time? I was a data developer in the wonderful world of car insurance, and I worked for a company that owns, at the time, 64 insurers. I'm sure they own more now. And I would take the data from all the different systems, mush it together so it was the same, and then make like actuarial reports, finance reports, stuff like that. And I wonder why I changed to the cruise industry. Is this the next merch, the toothpaste measurements? I don't know how I would put that on a t-shirt, but I'm always happy to hear anybody's ideas. Most of the ideas has been because someone said like, oh, I would really like luggage tags. We've got luggage tags now. I have a suitcase that says I'm going on a cruise with Captain Hudson, and I'm going to take that one out on my next cruise, which is interesting. But yeah, most things come from you guys. So my last live stream, I mean, we pretty much used that as like a product development call, which was pretty cool. Do you get just as sick on a river cruise? You do not feel a thing on a river cruise. I would challenge if anyone got seasick on a river cruise because it really does not move much, and you really don't sail very much. Well, depends on the itinerary, of course, but in my experience, we've normally been sailing for like, oh, we'll sail for 3 hours this evening, that's it, or oh, we'll sail overnight, but that's it. It's not like I did have a river day actually on my Saga river cruise, but it's not the same as ocean. Do you prefer ocean cruising or river cruising? I like a good mix of both. I couldn't pick just one. I mean, I guess if I had to pick just one, I would pick ocean just because there's so much more variety in ocean than river. But I think it'd be so good to do like a nice ocean cruise, a really busy one on like MSC World Europa or something, and then afterwards finish it with a week on a river cruise. That'd be really cool. The most relaxing one. I do like that one. Cruise boys say hello from the airport. They're off on an Australia adventure. Got a long journey ahead of them, but I hope they are, yeah, getting ready for a 14-hour flight. Yeah. What was the cruise with the window in the shower? So weird. This was my Costa cruise. That was Costa Smeralda, that very cheap one I talked about earlier. And it just has a glass panel between the rest of the cabin and the shower. There is a curtain. You can pull the curtain, but the curtain's on the outside. So if you're in the shower, you don't have control of the curtain, really, which is kind of weird. Didn't bother me at all. You know, I thought it was very interesting. But yeah, just odd. I didn't really understand it. It's so interesting to read the comments on that video too, because I put it on Facebook, and Facebook is a whole different game from YouTube. And so many comments are like, oh, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. I've never stayed here, never gone across the cruise. And then there's other people who are like, oh my gosh, you're such a prude. I can't believe you would care. And people, I think I just hit the microphone and muted myself. Hopefully I'm back now. Is that okay? Yeah. Do you ever use the lifts on a cruise? I always get this comment as well. People say, why are you avoiding the lifts? I don't need to use the lifts. There's other people who need them more than me. They're often quite busy. So I feel like I'll just get the exercise, go up the stairs, and someone else can have that space. It would be different if there was never a line or something, I guess. And if I'm doing sort of 11 flights of stairs, then I will do it. But on Prima, I ran up 10 flights when I did the slides. Down the slide, up 10 flights. Which is crazy. I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I just hit the mute button. At least I know now how this works and like what it looks like when it's muted. Oh my goodness. Okay, so guys, we've got 1 minute and a half left on this live stream. This has been so incredibly fast. I'm not going to be here next week because I'm going to be on a cruise, which is very exciting. And I'm not planning on bringing my work laptop on this cruise. This is a nice cruise I'm taking with my dad, just a normal cruise. I'll be sharing it across all my social accounts, of course, and there will be a video coming, but I'm very, very excited. I can't wait. It's a very small ship, so it's very different from going from Norwegian Prima down to a small river ship, but I'm looking forward to it. Jeff says, from someone that needs elevators, thank you for taking the stairs. You are very welcome. You're very welcome. I kind of find that on the first day or the first 2 days of a cruise, it's harder walking up the stairs. And then by the time you've got used to it, I'm sure the crew are very used to walking up and down the stairs. Your legs just kind of get used to it, I guess. Daddy daughter cruise. Yes, daddy daughter cruise indeed. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be nice. Have fun with your dad. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been so nice to talk to you. I will let you know how it goes. Right. Thanks, guys.